It was never a road. That is the first secret you must understand. There was no single path paved with silk stretching from one empire to the next. That is a fantasy. The reality was something far more complex, more dangerous, and infinitely more powerful. It was a network, a living web of shifting trails, treacherous mountain passes, and whispering desert sands. A nervous system connecting continents, pulsing with a rhythm of ambition, greed, and discovery. For over 1,000 years, this network was the bloodstream of the known world, and its lifeblood was a secret. The story begins in the heart of Han Dynasty China with an emperor's obsession. Emperor Wu had heard tales of magnificent, powerful horses from the western valleys. The Fergana, steeds so mighty they were said to sweat blood and descend from dragons. Heavenly horses, they were called. For the emperor, they were not a luxury, they were the key to defending his empire against the nomadic Qiongnu warriors who terrorized his borders. He had to have them. And so, the first threads of this great web were spun not out of a desire for wealth, but out of a need for power. A desperate gamble for survival. But to trade for these horses, China needed a treasure worthy of exchange. And they had one. A secret woven by worms, a fabric that flowed like water and shimmered like moonlight. Silk. At the time, silk was a technology, a state secret guarded more fiercely than any fortress. The art of sericulture, the cultivation of silkworms and the harvesting of their threads, was a mystery to the outside world. Anyone caught smuggling the worms or their eggs out of the empire faced a single, swift penalty: death. This luminous, delicate thread was China's black gold, its ultimate bargaining chip. Imagine the first caravan setting out from the ancient capital of Chang'an. The air thick with dust and determination. The camels, laden with bolts of precious silk, taking their first steps into the vast, unknown expanse of the West. Their path led directly into the jaws of the Taklamakan Desert, a name that means the place of no return. This was not a journey for the faint of heart. It was a brutal trial by fire and sand. Caravans faced scorching days, freezing nights, and terrifying sandstorms that could bury an entire party in minutes. They were hunted by bandits who saw the glint of silk as an invitation to slaughter, and haunted by the ghosts of those who had tried and failed, their bones a stark warning scattered along the trail. To survive, they clung to the oasis cities that dotted the route like jewels in the sand Dunhuang, with its breathtaking cave temples filled with Buddhist art, a testament to the ideas that were already beginning to flow along with the goods. They pushed onward over the roof of the world, the dizzying, frozen peaks of the Pamir Mountains, where the air was thin and every step was a battle against the elements. Those who made it through this crucible arrived in the vibrant heart of Central Asia. Cities like Samarkand and Bukhara. These were not mere rest stops, they were the world's great melting pots. Here, the threads of the web intertwined. A Roman merchant with gold coins could bargain with a Sogdian middleman for Chinese silk, Indian spices, and Persian glass. You could hear a dozen languages in a single marketplace. See Zoroastrians, Buddhists, and Nestorian Christians praying in the same city. It was here that the true nature of the Silk Road revealed itself. The cargo was more than just silk and horses. It was civilization itself, disassembled and packed onto the backs of camels. Traveling west along with the silk came Chinese innovations that would reshape the world: paper, the magnetic compass, gunpowder. Technologies that would spark a renaissance in Europe centuries later. Traveling east came the dreams and beliefs of other cultures. Buddhism rolled out of India, finding a fervent new home in China, carried by monks who walked the same perilous paths as the merchants. Art, music, mathematics, and astronomy were all exchanged, cross-pollinated, and transformed in this grand continental dialogue. But the network carried darkness as well. This highway of culture was also a highway of conquest. Armies marched along these routes, and empires rose and fell on their control of the trade. And it carried a silent, invisible passenger that was more deadly than any bandit: disease. It is believed that the Black Death, the plague that would devastate Europe in the 14th century, first traveled west from the Asian steppes along these very same trade routes, a terrible price for a connected world. When the silk finally reached its destination, the great cities of the Persian Empire, and beyond them, Rome, it caused a sensation. Roman aristocrats were utterly captivated by its sheer beauty and sensuality. It became the ultimate status symbol, a fabric so prized that it was literally worth its weight in gold. Moralists like Seneca the Elder decried it, seeing the translucent garments as a sign of moral decay, a decadent foreign import that was draining the Roman treasury and corrupting its women. A single thread, woven by a worm in a distant, mysterious land, was causing a moral and economic panic in the most powerful empire on earth. The physical roads are now mostly gone, reclaimed by the desert and the mountains. The caravans have long since vanished. But the legacy of the Silk Road is not in the dust. It is all around us. It's in the paper we write on, the numbers we use, the stories we tell, and the complex, interconnected global society we live in. The greatest treasures it carried were never the silk, the spices, or the gold. The greatest treasure was the connection itself. The radical idea that a desert, an ocean, or a mountain range was not an end, but a challenge. A path to another world, another mind, another possibility. The Silk Road taught humanity a fundamental lesson that we are all connected by invisible threads, woven together by the timeless human desire to see what lies beyond the horizon. The dust has settled, but the connections it forged are woven into the very fabric of who we are today.